so sweet to trust in Jesus, just to take him at his word, just to rest upon his promise, just to know thus saith the Lord. Jesus, Jesus, how I trust him, how I prove him o'er and o'er. Jesus, Jesus, precious Jesus, oh, for grace to trust him more. I'm so glad I learned to trust him, precious Jesus, Savior, friend. And I know that he is with me, will be with me till the end. Jesus, Jesus, how I trust him, how I prove him o'er and o'er. Jesus, Jesus, precious Jesus, oh, for grace to trust him more.
Proverbs 3 verses 5 and 6 says to trust in the Lord with all thine heart and lean not to thine own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy path.
Good morning and happy Sabbath.
Happy Sabbath to you all.
We are happy to welcome you once again to another Health Nugget. And as you can tell, we are doing it from home. And we're just happy to be able to give everyone our final installment on our 8 laws of health. And today, if you just listened, we thank Zia for that rendition, and we thank you for sharing that message with us about trusting in God. Now, we know we've listened to all the other health principles, but really, what does trusting in God have to do with boosting our immune system? Like, how does that help our health and our immune system?
Yes, Sister Dorce, as we heard earlier from Zia, she quoted Proverbs 3 verses 5 and 6 that remind us to trust in the Lord with all of our heart. In all of our ways, we ought to acknowledge him. Trust in the Lord has a lot to do with our health. And a lot of times, the Bible has so many promises of God, promises us health. And also, research shows that people who have a relationship with God have less stress, stronger immune system, and a lower chance of developing heart disease and cancer. So all that have to do with their trust in God.
So you're saying we actually benefit from the community of church.
Yes.
We benefit from, and even though we're not able to come together as we have over the years, we're still actually benefiting from having that church family that we gather together even in a forum like this, and we're able to share in each other's triumphs and each other's difficulties, and sharing that burden and sharing those joys actually helps boost our immune system and help us with our health.
And one of those promises is one that is very dear to me. And it says from Psalms 84 verses 11, it says, "For the Lord God is a sun and shield. The Lord will give grace and glory. No good thing will he withhold from them that walk uprightly." So this is a beautiful promise. And God will not withhold anything from you, including optimal health.
Good. So I want to, since we started even with the video with a verse, we're going to continue in that same vein. And we're going to talk about those promises that have been given to us in the Bible that helps us to trust in God. And those promises actually come with some of the guidelines. In order to reap those benefits, we actually have to follow some of the things that God has put in place for us. So let's start doing that. Why don't you go ahead and share one?
One of the guidelines God shared in his word, and we have to trust him to obey him, to say that whatever he says is a God of love, and we'll just obey him because he knows best. And one of those principles is eat neither fat nor blood. And this is taken from Leviticus 3 verses 17. God did not want us to eat the fat of the animal. God wants us to discard the fat of the animal. Now we know some 4,000 years after, the fat clog up our artery. So God, we just have to trust him when he says something and we obey him. And do you have one you can share?
I have one that's near and dear to me. The one that I guess affects me a little bit more, which is a warning against excess sweets. And that's in Proverbs 25 verse 27. And it's a challenge for me. It definitely is a challenge, but in order to reap some of the benefits that God has in store for all of us with good health, we have to do our part. And our part, this one actually has to do with keeping sweets to a minimum in our diet.
And another one is overeating is harmful to the body. So this one is taken from Proverbs 23 verses 2. And we have strong warning against gluttony in the Bible.
Okay, so what about eat to live and not live to eat? As Ecclesiastes 10 verse 17. So, sometimes some of you may have seen that program on TV about my 600-pound life, right? And it's amazing that people are getting that big or have gotten that big and even bigger. And some people just wake up and want to eat. So they're not eating to keep their body alive. They're just eating just for the sake of eating. And we've been warned against that too.
Yes. And also, the food that we eat ought to promote life.
Yes.
And unfortunately, a lot of time we eat food because they taste good. And they devoid of vitamin and nutrient that is good for the body.
Yeah.
And instead of promoting life, they become poison to the body.
Yes. So I also want to share another one. And if you're noticing, some of these came up in our nutrition or in other parts of our health series. This one is about washing our bodies and our clothes in order to keep ourselves free from germs. I know that some are washing their clothes. I know Sister Merez, she washes her clothes and puts them out on the line to sun dry. So those are some of the things that we can do to keep ourselves. I mean, that's part of all of the things that we're doing to wash our hands often and thoroughly, especially during this COVID-19 pandemic.
And one of them is taken from Proverbs 5 verses 1 to 12 is more living prevents sexual diseases. And now we know so many sexual diseases that exist today. And if we practice more living, meaning that what God says, not having sex, not having premarital sex, do it when you get married. So now you know what your partner is doing, you know what you're doing. So therefore that can prevent a lot of those sexual diseases out there.
Yes. So another one has to do with work and the importance of work. And that's in 1 Timothy 5 verse 8, that we shouldn't shun that and how important it is for our physical bodies, for our emotional health. Work really is important to develop a whole person.
And I know that's something you very high on. And another one, we spoke about it last week, is our body needs proper rest. We need proper rest, right? We don't get enough rest. A lot of times we go to sleep late and we're waking up early. And it was covered last week by Adriel that there is we need adequate amount of time to rest. And we do our body a disservice when we go to sleep so late.
Yes. So, and another is the benefit of a positive attitude. Proverbs 17 verse 22, 1 Timothy 6 verse 6, and there are other verses in the Bible that talk about the importance of having a good attitude, and having, there are songs about it, keeping a smile on our face and a song in our hearts. All those things are good for our physical health and our mental health as well.
And another one is hatred and bitterness destroy health. So that's taken from Leviticus 19 verses 17 to 18.
And the final one that we want to offer is helping others. And now we all like to help others, or feel like we like to help others, but it's not just for our friends, but even our enemies, right? That's the part that's a little bit harder. So we want to just go through our 8 laws of health that we went through for our series, beginning with nutrition. And next we have exercise, then water, sunlight, temperance, fresh air, rest, and today, trusting in God. And we want to especially thank you for joining us on this journey. And as we've been saying, you want to build on all the things that we've been talking about. You don't want to take one out and compensate with another. All of those things, that well-rounded person, that whole body, that whole mind, we need to do all those things. What we'd like to do now is just thank all of those that have been a part of the series over these last few weeks, and that includes Brandon and Sophia, Maxwood helped, Judlyn and Brenner, they did the exercise one. Shelby and her friend Mandy, they did sunlight, remember that one. Dionne helped us with the temperance one. Omari, thank you from far away. Joshua, Adriel, and of course this week we had Zia. So we just want to thank you for all your support and all your help with the videos, and continue to have good health, and we'll continue to pray for you. Thank you, and have a blessed Sabbath day.
And the biggest thank you I have to offer is to Sister Dionne Dorce. She has been on that journey for over a month, and I just want to thank you.
Happy Sabbath, everyone.
Happy